What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me,
Liam.
And today we are diving into a show I've been looking forward to for a while. I watched the first two seasons. Season 3 just aired last night, and we are going to be talking about Foundation Season 3, Episode 1 today. If you're brand new here, welcome. We are a show about shows. We don't claim to be experts about anything, but we really do enjoy entertainment, and based on everyone joining us about this, you guys do too. So if you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you are brand new here and have not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. If you're coming back and haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Hit subscribe. Just one button for you and takes like half a second, right? And then always, we are loving chatting with you guys. So your way to engage with us, other than on our live streams, would be to hit us up in the comments. So go ahead and we'll see you down in the comments.
Yeah, correct us in the comments if we get things wrong. We're great with that. Let us know about your theories, but if you have any information from like books or other content, please don't spoil anything coming up in the future. That's all I gotta say about that part.
But only disclaimer, don't spoil it.
That's our job. No.
Do not do it!
No. We get this cool opening scene of this giant army on an alien planet.
Yeah.
And one guy.
Yeah, so first of all, we get a time jump. So we get a little bit of a recap of like where things are, what's been happening, all leading up to the destruction of Terminus. Almost lost that word for a second. And then we get a time jump. I believe it was 137 years that it jumps into the future. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's 137 years. So we get a massive time jump. And we know in this universe we can do that because there's cryo sleep and all these different things that allow us to, jump in time. So, we know Gale and the other other version of Harry are both frozen. That's how we saw them end in season 2. So we'll definitely see them obviously come into season 3. So with that time jump, we are now, I believe, and we get confirmation in the time of the Mule, right? So now we have this big adversary that we've been looming towards, that Gale's seen in the future, finally show up. They switched the actor, which I got no problems with, especially after I saw this opening season and just how well he portrays this role. No issues. Also because the previous actor, we saw him like twice, 3 times, and it was like glimpses. So he didn't really get a chance to speak or portray or really do a lot, where just this opening scene was so powerful for the new Mule.
Oh, yeah. What a way to start.
Yeah. So right back to what you were saying, we're on an alien planet. There seems to be this army. We learn that this planet seems to be like a linchpin planet for what's like the universal battle. And both the Imperium and the Foundation do not quite own it, but they both kind of have peace treaties on it. And it's kind of like a pleasure planet, as we understand it. Like a Vegas on a planet, basically.
Yes.
So the leader of that planet and his army are on a cliff face, well, almost it looks like, or towards the ocean. There's like water behind them. And then this man walks out of the woods. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, so he's talking to them, telling them that he doesn't need an army. He is his own army. And then he's just bullshitting with them. And then eventually he's like, but I got powers. And he removes the goggles. He's like, I'm telling the captain, I'm just putting little suggestions in his head right now. Wouldn't it be cool if I just shot on the other cruisers or whatever they are? I thought that was super cool how cocky and evil that was all in that moment.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I'm suggesting to the other pilots that they should fire also. And then they start seeing them fight. And the guys on the ground, which is a massive fucking army on the ground, the general dude's talking to me. He's like, all right, we got to do something about this then. And he's like, what makes you think I didn't get to your troops already? And then boom, everyone dies.
Yeah.
Until there's one left standing. And he's like, he needs him to do something. And then eventually he tells him to kill himself.
Well, the one left standing is the ruler of Caladan, is the ruler of the planet he wants to take over. And the reason he leaves him standing is because he gives him the opportunity to like turn over the planet to him, and he refuses.
Yeah.
And that's when he has him bite off the ring that shows that he's now the ruler, and then kill himself, and he walks off.
Yep.
So we get to see very quickly that the Mule is probably one of the most powerful, they call them mentalics in this one, are like they're basically people with mental abilities, advanced mental abilities.
He reminds me of the guy from the Dune Legacy, the one from Vikings.
You're talking about not Dune Legacy.
That wasn't Dune? Which was that?
It is Dune, but it's not Legacy.
Oh, Dune something, right?
Yeah, you're talking about Prophecy.
Prophecy, yes.
Yes.
Dune Prophecy. He reminded me very much of that character.
Of Travis Fimmel?
Yep.
Okay, yep.
That I was getting a lot of that from him.
Yeah, well, you said that before we even started with Foundation. You were like, the worlds of Dune and Foundation are kind of mixing in my head right now. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, we'll keep it straight. I
gotta focus this a bit better. Yeah. But he's who I'm thinking of. Whenever I see him now, I'm thinking of him from the Dune series.
Well, I think that they're going to be fundamentally different as you move forward, but we'll keep going.
Okay.
So with the time jump, we actually get introduced to like quite a few new characters as well. So Harry has a conversation with what seems to be like I guess, professor, I would call him, inside of the Second Foundation. Foundation is away from being religious. It is more about free market expansion as their religion and following the dollar. And so this guy is one who introduces us to the fact that there is a third crisis about to happen. And then Harry kicks him out of the vault because he doesn't like being challenged. How did you perceive that whole conversation?
Entitlement, the guy, was it Harry that's behind the desk? Yeah, he was very entitled in that situation there. He doesn't like, as you said, doesn't like to be challenged.
Yeah.
But I see it as he just wants to move things along to get the plan going.
Well, that particular Harry is just like he's an AI, like an AI cloned version of Harry that has one specific objective and was programmed to still believe the things Harry believed when he set up the Foundation. Although we saw that goes back in time and it kind of screws some things up in season 2. But ultimately, he believes like he has to act as if, even though we know he doesn't believe it, he is the savior. Like he even, like, it's all pomp and circumstance, almost Wizard of Oz style. I am your savior. He's like, I have to go out in 4 days. I have to do this specific thing. I have to make, this gesture. I have to, like, he has to make sure all these certain things happen like these specific times so that he looks like this, savior godlike character.
Big hero, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get to see Brother Day, I thought was absolutely great in this. I liked seeing him kind of lose himself, and he's just getting lost in the world of pleasure. He's in the lust of a woman, completely high on drugs all day. He's using stuff from the database to make genetic clones of dead things or extinct things. And so we've got the ferret, the camel, and a couple other weird things going on there. And we have Dawn stepping up. He's freaking the most confident one out of all of them right now, which I don't recall the Dawn one ever being that confident. He was usually just cocky, right?
No, he's usually like a scared idiot, but we're seeing something I don't believe. I'm trying to go back to season 1 in my mind, which is not going to be good. That was a while ago. This is the first time that we are seeing a transition where like dawn is becoming day. And so he only has 10 days till he actually becomes day.
Yes.
So I think what we're seeing is like he's past that like awkward scared child phase where he's past that arrogant entitled phase. He's past kind of like that pieces and he's kind of stepping in, well, he's still a little bit arrogant and entitled, but he's stepping more into the powerful, confident leader that Day needs to be, right? With the advisors on his side. We've seen Dusk walk and get killed before. We've seen that on camera. We're most likely not going to see this now because of what we just learned at the end of episode 1, and that we're basically going to, I think it was, I forget exactly how much time, but we're might be facing the extinction of man.
It said 4 months.
Yeah, so we have 4 months. And so all of mankind might be wiped out. So I think they may put a delay on Dusk off in himself for a minute. But the thing that was most interesting, and I agree that this is the first time we're seeing Day like this, but I think ultimately
it's Dawn right now. Or
it's Day. Dawn. The reason we're seeing Dawn like this is stepping into Day is because we're seeing him actually step into that role. So he's more of that confident leader because he needs to be. That's where he is in his progression.
Plus, I think it's a time of crisis with the stuff that's going on as well. They've got rebellions popping up. They're losing control of different planets. And as they kind of put it, it's like they're battling for the soul of the universe right there, or they're part of it anyway.
Yeah. One other thing that I think may be a fact, now that I'm thinking about it some more, is that we learned in season 2 that the emperors, themselves, the clones, they're just figureheads. They're puppets more than anything. That there's been a forever empress behind the scenes running everything forever. What I think may be happening is that Dusk is too old. Day cannot be controlled. And so she is pouring all her energy and time and love and care and support into this new Dawn, which would make him a very confident, powerful, strong, independent, thoughtful, strategic leader, which we see him being. Because if you noticed, Day doesn't call her by name. He calls her it.
I didn't pick that up.
Because when they call him back, right, he's in his he's basically walking around looking like the Big Lebowski in the big fur coat throat and like flops basically. And so
That's how I prefer to dress.
walking around just talking shit in that one room, and they're like, no, this is serious, like we need to pay attention to what Demerzel's saying. And he goes, what does he say? Oh, what did she or what did it give you that? So he doesn't call it she, doesn't call her by her name, calls it.
I didn't pick that detail up.
Yeah, so he has some serious beef with her. And I think it may have something to do with the fact that maybe he found out that he is just a worthless clone and that she really runs everything. And like, that's his act of rebellion is like, I had no control. So
A little spite.
yeah, I don't know. It's all gonna unravel here in season 3. But this first time we're seeing Day shuck his duties and become like just a complete heathen to his own desires. And we've seen Dawn actually act more like Day. Again, I think it's because if you watch Dawn in every part of this episode, Demerzel's right behind him everywhere he goes. So she's constantly in his ear. I think that's a direct connection to why he is so different than what we've seen him be in the past.
Okay. Just her as a stimuli for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Dusk is still whispering in his ear and trying, like, keeping him kind of like on the same path and loyal. But we'll see what happens, right?
It's going to take me a few episodes to get back into this universe for me mentally, but I'm very much enjoying this one. The garden scene. We were sitting in our office yesterday and that one reel came up of the teaser for this episode. And you're like, oh, they're not even going to show it as she's cutting open her chest with her fingernail type thing. Oh, I forgot that she had that.
Yeah. So strange move. I'd love to hear you guys' theories on why Harry did that. Because I have there's a couple of theories on, floating around that I've heard, and a couple of them make sense, but I'd love to hear yours as well in the comments. So
They revealed that to us before, or was that the first time we saw that?
no, so Harry gives it to him. So if you know, there's a scene where to the Emperor. So the Emperor and fly to Terminus.
Oh, I was talking about
Go
why she had her-
into the vaults.
Yeah.
And talk to Harry, or talk to that clone version of Harry, the AI that can simulate. And that guy gives him the Prime Meridian, gives him the clone version. There's 2 of them. So there's one that exists in both of the things, right? And so he gives her one so that she can basically see what he sees. And so that's what she's using to kind of try to rewrite the future and change what happens. Yeah. But the problem is like, she's not doing a very good job of it, and it keeps fraying. And like, she's figuring out that like, no matter what she's doing, there's always anomalies she can't account for.
And she talks about not being able to override certain things, or she was asked if she could override certain things. She's like, no, I just truly love them.
That's still the programming that Cleon the First put in her.
Yeah.
Where it's a really crazy scene because she goes, I love you to him.
And I don't know if it's real.
And that's what he says. I wish I would have waited to put that programming in so I would have known if that was real. I have programmed you to be this way. So it's like, damn, kind of crazy. But yeah, like she was one of his greatest enemies. And so not his, I think it was like his grandfather's or something, because she was one of the greatest generals in the war. Because when she meets him, he's just a little boy, it's even younger than Dawn when she meets him in the season 2. So I think it was like probably his grandfather.
Who was that other girl though?
Song?
Yeah, I guess.
So right now, as far as we know, someone that Day's been shacking up with for 6 months. And
no, the girl in the garden.
That's her. That's Song.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the same one that Day's been shacking up with?
No. If you're talking about the princess or the one that was supposed to be Empress and from season 2, we haven't seen where she is yet.
I'm talking about, there's 2 women that I feel like we're getting confused. The one where the android is in the garden, or the AI is in the garden where they're talking with the chess scene. Okay. And then the one that Day is fooling around with and getting high with.
Yeah. The one that he's fooling around and getting high with, his name is Song. Okay. She's kind of just a courtesan.
That's what I was talking about.
So the redheaded chick.
Yes.
Some sort of religious order is my guess. It's our first introduction.
So we don't know.
It's our first introduction to them inside of... I haven't read the books, right? I don't know the source material. I only have watched the series. And so if you have information from the books and you know who she is, without spoiling anything that may come, please let us know in the comments below. My guess is that she's from some sort of religious order called like the Zephyrs or Zephyr, something like that with a Z.
Okay.
And they're trying to bring them in and give them a foothold inside of the Empire, using her as kind of like the Bene Gesserit in Dune.
Yeah.
All have like a house.
Yeah, another reason for me to confuse this with Dune.
Shouldn't have brought it up, but I figured you would get the...
Yes, so that did help explain to me, yes. But the reason I was...
like another advisor from a different point of view, because it's a different religion that they don't necessarily believe. So it can give them insights and knowledge from a different source. So they bring her in.
Well, the AI queen general chick goes and tells her that, hey, look, every time we're here, we're gonna remember these conversations, but every time you're not here, you're not gonna know we even had these conversations.
Treating her
But it's
like a therapist, kind of.
yeah, but it's coding or just chemical wipe or where it's just being hidden away where the advisor doesn't even know that she has those memories, is what I'm getting at.
I mean, from season 1, we've known that they have very advanced memory manipulation technology.
Yeah.
They can pull a specific memory, they can wipe it, they can alter the way you see something, remember something. And then we learn that the Dominion, Cloud Dominion, have the ability to restore and like reattach those memories that maybe the Empire had messed with. So like there's a lot of advanced technology out there for mind manipulation.
Yep.
But I am interested too, because what value, what knowledge, what insight does this new character bring to the table that led Demerzel to seek her out and bring her to her and her be the one she confides in with information that she won't even confide with anybody else? What is she specialized in? Like, what does their order do that she's such in search of the answers to? That I'd like to know.
Well,
unless it spoils it, and then don't tell.
They have literally no idea what happens at the end of 4 months, except they know that possible extinction of all of humanity.
Yeah, but her concern is not the extinction of humanity. Her biggest concern during that conversation in the garden with her was, what do I do when my prime directive runs out? She's looking for a way to rewrite her code, not to save humanity. I don't think she cares. I think her biggest thing is, what do I do when Cleon's gone? Because that's my only job.
The redhead asked her that. She loves them.
She has to say that based on programming, but if you read through the lines of what she's trying to say to her, what she's asking her is, how do I give myself a new purpose? How do I rewrite this thing so that when the one thing I'm supposed to take care of is gone, I can move on with purpose? Because she's going to live for a really long time.
Oh, yeah, she's already lived for a long time.
Yeah.
She's artificial.
1000%. Yeah. She could rebuild herself at any time, could take out faulty parts and put them back. Like, she could live forever.
I wonder if she's going to go on, maybe her rewriting herself is that event that happens in 4 months. And then, so for her to go ahead and see this 4-month thing come, not knowing, nobody knows what it is. She's so scared. She's looking to rewrite herself. What if she rewrites herself and becomes what she used to be before and wipes out humanity? And she is that freaking catalyst or problem.
Well, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing for her to become what she was before, because her directive wasn't to wipe out humanity. Because when she gets freed by, well, he's dusk by then, she chooses not to kill him. Like, she could have easily walked up, snapped his neck, walked out, like easy, but doesn't. So I don't think that her prime directive before was just kill all humans. Like, it wasn't like some diabolical Terminator style thing. I think it was more like a Thanos thing where we have to, like, I guess that's not a good example, but like maybe a Bill Gates thing where he's like, we need to cull the planet so that we have more resources for humanity. We're like okay with like wiping out portion of humanity so the rest could live, kind of thing. I think that's more where she was coming from, because when she talks in the garden, and I may be way off, but when she talks in the garden, she says to her that, like, we changed the directive. We gave ourselves a 0 directive. And that 0 directive was to, like, save the whole of mankind over 1. And then they came up with the idea that mankind's driving themselves to extinction and we need to stop them from doing that. And so to stop them from going extinct, they went to war with each other. So that's another thing that was interesting too.
This is us in 6 months when AI becomes sentient.
Is the war, the war wasn't robot against man. The war was robot against robot, as she described it. There was 2 warring factions. There was the ones who thought that, you know, I guess mankind should be wiped out, and the ones that thought that mankind shouldn't, and then they fought each other. Or, because she said some of them didn't assimilate, some of them couldn't take on the new orders, and maybe those ones rose up and fought the other ones then? Because she says it was robot on robot. And then I guess at some point mankind gets involved. I guess I have gaps that maybe are filled in the books.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely need a refresher.
Yeah, but we got a little bit of backstory on like how the robot war happened in that scene in the garden when she's talking to her. So I don't know. I think if she gets reprogrammed back to her prime directive, then she could absolutely be a danger, and she will kill Cleon for all of the torture torture and torment that she put him through and probably wipe out that genetic line. But I don't think mankind wipes out. If anything, I think she would be the only person capable of defeating the mule, because the mule can take over someone's mind and she doesn't have one.
Yeah. So my notes say Zeroth law is the law for what they were fighting over for how to save humanity.
Yeah.
Just so that give a little context.
Yeah, because the way she described it is they created the law, but not all robots could receive it. Like some of them just couldn't accept it, couldn't receive it. And so that makes sense that then they fight over like not agreeing on that.
But the Prime Radiant thing was really cool. It looked just like a giant D&D die.
Yeah. Except for the fact that when you tap it twice and flip it, it like shoots all these lights and stuff out of it and does cool things.
Never mind, that was going to make an inappropriate joke.
Of course you were.
All right. So it feels like a lot of the same struggles that we've seen throughout the other 2 seasons, just new people having these same struggles, which checks out because as humans, and we kind of repeat our mistakes throughout history, and since that's a huge time jump. But is the mule truly evil, though, is what I want to know. I've got so many questions. Maybe it's because I'm not remembering as much or just confusing it with the other series right now. So I'll have to go back and catch up, I guess, and rewatch just so I can get back to this universe again. But I've got a lot of questions for the series of where it's going right now. I'm feeling kind of lost and confused at this moment, but that's normal for the first couple episodes, for me anyway.
Yeah, I'm on track.
Okay.
I'm feeling like I know where we are and what's going on. But I also rewatched season 2 before we got into this so that I would feel this way. Otherwise, I probably would feel just the same way you do. So I think the mule is evil based on what we saw in the opening of season 3. We've been doing a lot of talk about what makes someone evil. And I think when you think of human life as so little as we clearly see he does, then clearly there's evil in there. We do not know who he is, where he comes from, why he is the way he is, right? Because I do believe context matters, but we don't know any of that yet. I believe that's going to be unrolled for us in season 3, because the only time we've seen him other than in previous seasons, the only time we've seen him is in time jumps with Gale. So Gale jumps forward, sees her daughter's dead, runs into him, she chokes him. That's all we ever see. Then she's fighting the other really strong psychic woman at the end of season 2, and she jumps her into that place, thinking that it was going to scare Gale because of fear of hers, seeing her daughter on the floor. Obviously, losing a child is a huge fear. So she brings her there, not realizing at the same time she's exposing herself to the mule. And then she goes into her biggest panic, which is death, and gets all, jumbled up. But that's like it. That's all we ever see of him. And we don't really, and then we see him at the very end where he's like in there meditating and like rocking. He's like, we got to kill Gale, got to find Gale, whatever. But that's it. So it's normal. I think it's probably all of us, other than maybe a book reader, who would be a little confused on who he is and like what his motives are and like what he's trying to do, other than take over the entire universe.
All right. So what questions do you guys have for what's coming up in the future? What did we get right? What did we get wrong? We're just honestly looking for some feedback and some clarity at this point, or I am anyway. I'll speak for there.
Yeah, I feel like there's quite a bit that we haven't talked about. We have the Foundation trying to prove that the Empire is funding their rebels, and that real cool like burning hellscape planet. Yeah, so it reminded me of the Chronicles of Riddick movie, where that one, have you seen that?
I've seen them all, yes.
Yeah, where like part of the planet that's in shade is good, but as soon as the sun hits, like just cooks you. Very similar to that, where the sun is like 200 and something degrees. Like that one box they were trying to get was ultimately like molten by the time like they were like looking at it. I thought that was really cool, interesting
crossover.
Yeah, right? You're gonna see Riddick show up. I thought that was a really cool, like, cinematic piece, honestly. The way the planet was. Haven is pretty cool.
I've got the image in my head of, dawn, day, and dusk, all standing in front with Vin Diesel behind him saying, I don't have friends, I got family.
Oh, God. Umbrella.
It's alright.
No, I thought that the planet of Haven, cool concepts. Obviously, we've seen it before, but well done again. This burning hellscape. I also enjoy the name Haven because, the Daggerheart campaign that I'm currently playing in is the Witherwild, and half of it's Haven, the other half is, it's pretty cool. Anyway, so kind of a interesting piece of trivia knowledge. I don't know.
His big thing at Clarion Station, with Dawn's big premiere, or where he talks about the whole 10-day thing.
Yeah.
Or he gets challenged, like, you're not even going to be emperor until another 10 days. And he's like, yeah, okay, and we still got to get this done.
Yeah. I honestly, that that scene where they're like flying in, and we learn that, you know, after
Seeing the ships.
the debauched enclosure or whatever we called it of Cleon the 17th or 16th.
Oh, also got the dude who went to go get that evidence on that burning, hateful planet. He goes back and talks to who was that guy? Like a senator or something, or governor?
He's the ruler of the Foundation.
But he goes and steals his ID thing after a conversation. He's like, look, I really got to do this. I'm not really here to serve you. I'm here to serve overall everything.
Yeah.
Right? And so he steals his ship and goes off chasing the mule.
Right. Yeah. So I think a couple of things that we need to just touch on real quick too, because they're incredibly relevant, is during this 137-year time jump, some drastic things have changed. Foundation has grown by 800 planets. The Imperial world has also grown, although they, you know, lost a couple of planets to the Foundation. Can I think of the word for a second? They also have grown greatly as their own planetary systems, but they lost, and this is pretty crucial, they lost their space navigation superiority. They lost their superiority as far as like an air fleet. When the spacers got taken from them, they no longer can jump through time. So they have to rely on these jump gates now, which is a pretty crucial piece of information that wasn't a piece of anything until now. So definitely need to keep that in mind. Their ability to have their armada and then have that armada, you know, actually show up somewhere in a timely fashion and like actually have the ability to conquer the universe has been drastically taken from them because they no longer have the ability to get that armada there very quickly.
Yes. Okay.
And why do you think the rebel guy decided to rebel against the word of his leader and actually go after the mule and decide, like, because all he said to him was like, listen, we just need to get past these 4 days, and then once we're done with these 4 days, we can go handle this thing. What do you call him? His telepathic, I forget what he called him.
I think he's like one of those detectives in the show where it's just a dog with a bone type thing. I think that's all it is.
Okay. I thought maybe he might be a mentalic as well, and he can kind of sense it.
You think so? Or maybe not know it yet?
Yeah, because he's also, what I'm thinking is he may be a descendant of Harry as well, or of Salvor, or of, well, Salvor didn't have a kid before she died. I don't know.
I guess we'll see.
But it was just very strange that when that particular message popped up, he was so drawn to it and so alerted by it, where everyone else is just like laughing it off right now.
We will see.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you guys being here. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do so. And we will see you on the next video.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were. You've already come far.